Paranormal, extrasensory perception, spiritualism, cryptozoology, telekinesis, poltergeists, ghost, UFO, alien, etc. UFO sightings are real. UFO sightings are real. More than 70,000 reports on unidentified flying objects, UFO, exist in the government files. Included among them are tens of thousands of pages of related material, reports, surveys, letters, and investigations that need to be reviewed and studied to gain a complete understanding of the Air Force program of UFO research. The U.S. government recently confirmed reports by military pilots of unidentified aerial phenomena, UFO, which are more commonly called unidentified flying objects, UFO. The government also acknowledged the need to better understand UFO for the purpose of pilot safety and national security. There was no mention of aliens from other planets visiting Earth, but the possibility was not ruled out. For decades, the U.S. government has denied the existence of UFO, making this a major step. The Foo Fighters. Though much of the literature about Foo Fighters suggests that they first appeared in the late stages of World War II, and it is true that the name Foo Fighters wasn't used until 1944, it is also true that the sightings began much earlier than that. On February 26, 1942, just weeks after the American entry into the war, a Dutch sailor in the Timor Sea, near Australia and New Guinea, reported seeing a large, illuminated disc approaching at what he thought was an incredible speed. Nearly every book about unidentified flying objects, UFO, suggests that the modern era began on June 24, 1947, when Kenneth Arnold saw 9 crescent-shaped objects near Mount Rainier, Washington. But the truth of the matter is that flying saucers, also referred to by many other names, were reported regularly from the beginning of the 1940s. These early manifestations were eventually labeled the Foo Fighters, and they were described in ways that made it clear they were much more than just blobs of light seen in the distance. By the end of 1947, just 6 months after Mr. Arnold's UFO sighting, a total of 140 newspapers from across the United States and Canada had reported on 860 UFO sightings. Flying saucers would soon become ubiquitous in comic books, TV shows and movies. The military denies all evidence of UFOs. Just 2 weeks after Mr. Arnold's UFO sighting, the Air Force felt compelled to issue a statement about the crash of a military weather balloon in Roswell, New Mexico. The incident had initially been reported as a possible flying disc crash. The Air Force explanation did not have the desired effect, and Roswell is still synonymous with UFO and theories about government conspiracies to conceal evidence of extraterrestrial activity on Earth. The Army did send officials to talk to Mr. Arnold, and they officially concluded that he had either seen a mirage or was hallucinating. Nonetheless, UFO sightings persisted. Given the possibility that UFOs might be sophisticated Soviet aircraft, the U.S. Air Force launched a UFO investigation called Project Blue Book in 1952. The project was shut down. For decades, the military would continue to deny any evidence of flying objects that could not be explained, which further emboldened conspiracy theorists. The military acknowledges existence of UFO. The report focused on UFO witnessed firsthand by military pilots and those registered on aircraft sensors including radar, infrared, electro-optical and weapons seekers. These sensors can provide accurate information about relative size, shape, structure, velocity, and range. All UFO incidents are expected to eventually be included in one of 5 categories: airborne clutter, birds, balloons, recreational drones, plastic bags, etc. Natural atmospheric phenomena, ice crystals, moisture, thermal fluctuations, etc. USA or industry developmental programs, classified government programs, etc. Foreign adversary systems, advanced aircraft by countries other than the USA that use breakthrough technology, etc. Other, UFO without enough data to be identified in alien spacecraft, etc. A recent increase in UFO sightings. The vast majority of sightings can be attributed to satellites, meteors, the planet Venus, birds, bats, planes, drones and the light playing tricks on the eye or the camera lens. Serious UFO researchers know that humans are not adept at gauging the size, speed, and distance of an object in the air, especially when there are no background objects for comparison. A small percentage of UFO sightings remain unexplained, but that percentage does not change when more sightings are reported. Oftentimes, an increase in reports can be traced to UFO stories in the news. The vast majority of unidentified flying objects are definitely not due to aliens. However, astronomers estimate that there are 300 million habitable worlds in the Milky Way galaxy alone. It isn't unreasonable to look. Report a UFO? Have some UFO footage or a movie camera or a video camera? Have some UFO a picture? The Sasquatch's Lair, www.sasquatch.org, Paranormal, name, email, comment or message, submit.